Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right. You guys want to see how awesome my notes are? Do you guys want to see what it's like to write down notes as a professional trader? Do you guys want to see what it's like? All right, I'll show you. Are you ready? Can you see that? Little squigglies? Look at that. Those are my notes. That's how beautiful they are. I don't know if you can really see that, but it's all over the place. Just little jots, just random things. That lets you know how my brain works. That's all it takes. Just a couple tickers, jotted down in a notebook randomly. Good to go. All right. Oh, fun stuff, fun stuff. All right, guys. So we have probably a pretty busy morning. You know, give me a second. I want to restart my platform because it's kind of like glitching out right now. I'm not quite sure why, but it's kind of doing it. So I'm just going to restart everything really quick here. Okay. Good. Muted mic. We're good to go. Rock and roll. I already have a video on all those lines, so please go and watch that. It's on my channel. Just look up the video My Strategy, and then it'll explain all that. Okay, sorry, just log it in here, and we're going to get rocking and rolling. I know. See, that's the other thing, too, is I'm redoing the course, and it's honestly taking me so long because of streaming onto YouTube every day, trading, and then emails and messages, and then finding the time to then go and remake all those videos better with better equipment. I mean, but yeah, the course is awesome. There's a lot more coming into it. But anyways, yeah. So if you have questions about what's on my chart, just make sure to go to my channel and look up like one of my last videos called My Strategy. Anyways, so let's get into it here. The first thing we're going to touch on is the SPY. I wish I had been on. We started this a little earlier. So I'm currently short the market right now this morning, pretty much from here. Let me show you real quick. So I started shorting the market here. I shorted 100 shares. I shorted another 20 shares. So we're already short biased the market. We're looking at a bear start to the day, probably a bearish move for the morning. I don't know if the whole bear move is going to happen pre-market. I don't know if it's going to happen fully, you know, at market open. Anyways, but we're looking at more of a bearish move to start the early morning of the day. Honestly, with how things ended yesterday, how we've bounced overnight, I could see the markets moving back down to even this 284 mark today. I could see a bearish move down to here respectfully. A bear move all the way down to the 280 zone on the day or more than that seems a little bit more far-fetched. So I'm not going to bank on that. But I do see a respectful market move maybe back down towards 284, 285 today. Okay. I really wouldn't even consider being any bit long bias for a bounce on the market until we were at 284 anyways. So if I don't even want to buy the market myself for a long play until 284, then clearly I should stay short until at least 284, right? Would make sense. So probably going to have a bearish start to the open, I think. So I'm going to remain bearish. I'm going to keep it on this short here. Okay. So that's kind of the intraday, very minuscule view. Now let's look at the 4-hour chart here. So give me a second. This is where things are going to be a little bit more defined for you. Okay, so now let's go into the 4-hour chart. Let me pull this up. Okay, so do you guys see the head and shoulders pattern in here? So we have our, let me grab my trend line, and I got to go over this pretty quickly. So we have the move up, move down, move up, creates the head, then we have the drop, then we have our bounce back up, and you can see I even have an arrow there. That was where I was willing to keep shorting all the way up to that like red arrow there. So let me delete this drawing. willing to short all the way up to there this morning. So you can see we've bounced, and if we're correct, and this is a head and shoulders move, we should come back down something like that. Okay, so I'm banking that we're pretty much in a head and shoulders pattern, and we should continue to kind of roll to the downside here on this move is really what I was anticipating. So not only does the 1 minute time frame today look good for shorting purposes or to be bearish, but also the 4-hour chart looked pretty promising here as well. So all in all, got a little bit more of a bearish feel going into the open on the market today. Okay. VTIQ, yeah, Bob, you guys, so if you guys remember, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, but I pretty much said VTIQ is becoming a parabolic, hyped up momentum stock, and it's probably going to move similar to TLRY, similar to SPCE, BYND, and it's doing just that. It's a parabolic, super hyped up stock right now. Typically, I would say not to buy it, and I'm just going to say not to buy it. Okay, no, and I don't want to say that not to buy it, but at the end of the day, let's go look at VTIQ. Okay. All right, so VTIQ. Oh yeah, I still have 20 shares. I bought this a while ago. 20 shares. See, that's what I'm saying. Look what I bought. This is what I bought of VTIQ. 20. Like, I myself was like, you know what? I know this is probably going to be some pumped up, hyped up stock. I'll throw $20 on it, but like that's it. Like, no, or sorry, not 20 bucks, 20 shares, but that's it. Because I know what it is, and I just don't ever feel comfortable really throwing lots of money on these really crazy, hyped stocks. I can play them, but I usually will do it smaller if need be. But anyways, so you can see it's turning into a hyped up, pumped up stock. So I'm just going to tell you not to buy it. Like, just don't even, it's just not even really worth it. Unless you're really good at picking lows and bottoms, then it's always going to be a higher risk stock. And the reason we say that is because here was the outcome for, you never know how high they're going to go either. That's the thing, is you never really know how high they're going to go. And so this was TLRY. You can see that big move. It went from 32 all the way to 300. I didn't do any trading on TLRY up. I just shorted the top down. That's what I ended up doing with TLRY myself. BYND was the same thing, arguably. I didn't get any of the up, and then I ended up getting a big piece, ended up shorting it down here. So that's the other thing, is you never know for sure how high they're going to go until you kind of start to see the selling, right? So once they get up there and you kind of start to see those bearish signals, you're like, okay, it kind of looks like it's topping. So it's always fun while they last, but they always are a little high risk. But when it comes to VTIQ, yeah, you can still follow it. I mean, it's still getting pumped. It's still being hyped up. I'm still holding 20 shares because why not, you know? So yeah, if you want to follow VTIQ, sure, but it's already blown out so heavy. Granted, I will say this about VTIQ. I mean, granted, the buying volume's we're still haven't seen a day with increased selling pressure. All we've actually had yet so far is increasing volume with increasing buying volume and decreasing selling volume over the past 3 trading days. So the past 3 trading days, we've increased in overall volume, we've increased in overall buying volume, and we decreased in overall selling volume. So there are more buyers going up right now, which does usually indicate the trend can continue. So I think this might still have some gas left in the tank, but I'm not going to be buying any more of it myself. Okay. Why is there a surge every day at 8 o'clock? I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. Yeah, transformation under progress. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's the hype behind it. Nikola Motors, it's going to be a Tesla, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, you're exactly right. Wayfair? Yeah, I'll take a look at Wayfair for you. Or wait, oh, I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why is it Wells Fargo? Like, that doesn't even make, that makes 0 sense. Yeah, so Wayfair, Yeah, excuse me. Wayfair is extremely overbought. Yeah, I would probably not be a buyer on that. I would probably be more of a seller for right now. Again, it did blow out on the earnings. It's kind of fading right now, but I couldn't, yeah, I mean, I can't justify buying that. It's so blown out of trend. You got a monster gap here. I'd be short bias on Wayfair still, ultimately. What volume study? The volume study we're using, it's a custom coded one. It's on our website. It's available there for like close to $100. But so yeah, that's a custom coded volume study we have. What do you think about Apple? Could Uber jump on news of Grubhub buyout? So Uber could jump on news of the Grubhub buyout, but a lot of times you will actually see the opposite. You'll actually see Grubhub jump and then like Uber drop. And the reason for that is because if Uber is buying out Grubhub, then it's essentially Uber spending money off the books of the company Uber to purchase Grubhub. So usually it's like an opposite effect. Not always, but you will notice that from time to time. It's sort of similar to when a company pays out dividends, because when a company pays out dividends, then the stock drops because essentially the share price reflects that of all the revenue, all the earnings the company is going to be losing because it's having to pay out the dividends. So if a company pays you dividends, it's paying the money out of its own pocket. So therefore the company earnings go down. So if the company earnings go down, then the stock price should clearly reflect a company that's making less money. Hence why you usually see your stock drop the day that the earnings are paying out, or the dividend is paid out. Lines on the chart. Go to my YouTube channel, videos, last video that I made, my strategy. You want to make monthly contributions to your 401k. What stocks do you recommend? Honestly, so it's hard for me to always give a recommendation because I view my long-term recommendations based on my age and my approach, which could be far more significant than where. And that's the thing, is if you're talking anything regarding retirement, there's really a plan around that. There has to be a plan around that because it's such a long-term thing that you it's always going to be changing, and you got to be flexible with it. So for me, I'm always buying. So I just dollar cost average. I really like healthcare. I'm also probably a little bit more just long bias and have a little bit more of, I probably just have a little bit more of a bias towards the healthcare world because I've been invested in it for so long. But I like healthcare. For one, that's something that's always worked well for me at least. So here's the thing though. I don't really think it's time to be buying stocks. I always dollar cost average some, but if you're talking about really trying to invest lump sums of cash into the market, I don't think it's time yet. So I would pause on that. But just always make sure you're investing something, like $100 a month, maybe. But to answer that question, we'd have to really go in depth, to be completely honest. Hey, Connor, does natural gas correlate with oil? If so, why the natural gas sell-off if oil was pushing? So just in general, you naturally would not want to watch the oil market with the natural gas market to time trades per se. You wouldn't do that. So if you're seeing a big difference from oil's price to natural gas's price, and you're like, what's going on? That's probably because you're watching two different markets, for one, so don't do that, okay? And then two, I don't know enough about actually the oil industry and how natural gas affects oil and all that. No, I don't know if there is a big correlation between the two in terms of an economic play. I don't know that enough because I don't study that aspect of the market as much. Okay. Brian, yeah, no worries. Yeah, so you read that right there. I just joined the chat room and I bought the damn standard deviation chart you got in there, and you helped me make 10 times more than the ask is only fair. Yeah. There you go. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. J&J for a buy and hold. I mean, honestly, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you look at, like, in my retirement account, I own a lot of like Clorox, like Aflac, right? So a lot of my retirement is built around stable companies with good business models. What better company is there than I basically convince all of you to pay me on future outcomes that may never happen, and then I get to keep all your money? It's fucking brilliant. It really is. And then when shit actually happens, you have to call me and bitch and complain, moan and groan and fight, and then I might give you your money. It's a great business model. I mean, customer service might have to suck at times, but I mean, it's a genius. Hey, this shit might happen to you, so you pay me, and then if it doesn't, I still keep your money. Strong company. They usually have a lot of cash on hand. You know, so those are the things. Like, you gotta look at strong business models, right? So, anyways, you get the point there. No, I don't trade futures. If not, why? I just never got into it. Actually, was just discussing that yesterday, that I almost opened a futures account a long time ago, and then I didn't, and then I was about to again, and I still haven't. So, I don't know. If you've seen my life, you would realize how busy and like much I run around like a chicken with my head cut off, that it's hard for me to keep up with, honestly, day-to-day tasks at this point. Let's see. Just open an account with CMG platform. Do you recommend? I've never used CMEG. I know that a lot of others like it. I've never used it myself, but others do. They like it. I've never used them myself. I've never really heard bad things about CMEG, so can't speak negatively or extremely highly. All right, so I've never really covered any stock other than the stock market today and just answered a bunch of random questions. So we're just going to quickly speed through a lot of the stocks that I'm watching. All right, guys, so pay attention, get ready, because it's going to be fast. All right, so we're going to start from the top. ALC, here's an earnings. We were going to short this one today. I was hoping it stayed up, but long story short, we were going to go short on ALC this morning. We were looking at it when it was at 59. We're down to 57, so I don't know if I'll still short this, but anyways, we'll watch it. It'll just be at least on watch now. ALGT is another one that popped up this morning. This is up to $80. This would probably get, it's an earnings play. It got an outperform from like Raymond James, but I don't know. We're still gonna watch this one short bias. It's light volume, gapped up. It's a travel stock. I just hard to believe that this is really getting upgraded, but I could be wrong. So still gonna watch that bearish. Another one here, WW. Was it W? No, it wasn't WW. LH maybe. Was it maybe? No, it wasn't LH. ADPT. Here we go. So ADPT, I think, is another interesting one. So if you look at the right chart, or just this chart in general, it's an earnings, and we're sitting at 2 standard deviations out, so we're pretty much at resistance on trend. We could peak over a little bit, but ultimately from the larger time frame, we have reached a resistance point, so it would be correct to start thinking more bearish around these prices than bullish, given that it's an earnings play and we're sitting at 2 standard deviations on the daily chart. I'm going to watch this a little bit more bearish today for now, at least. Okay, there was a couple other ones, but I mean, that's basically all. They're just these light random earnings that we're just going to be watching throughout the day. And then of course we're always watching bigger name stocks, right? So those are kind of the oddball stocks that we're keeping eyes on today. Airlines, what's your thoughts? I mean, I ought to just make a video on airlines. I ought to just make a video on natural gas, on oil, on ETFs, on 401ks, on Roth IRAs, on simplified employee pension plans, on how to do business tax deductions for your company. I mean, I really should just do all those videos. I never do. I just should do them, though. Sit down and actually take the time to work one day and do them. So you bought JNUG. I mean, I don't think JNUG's necessarily a bad purchase. I mean, gold's still going up. You know, like I said, it's trying to perform a bull flag right now. It's trying to break up. It's in the upper side of the channel, which is why I myself wouldn't probably want to trade out this bull flag, only because it's in the upper side of the channel. Or if I did, it would have to be quick. But yeah, you know, the gold market's still pushing. It's still trying to break out, essentially. Silver, let's see how silver's doing. If you guys see, oh, would you look at that? You guys remember the other day when I drew this flag pattern on the chart with silver and told you it's a bull flag and it's going to try to break out here into the upper side of the channel near 1560? It's still there. I still have the same flag that I drew from like a couple days ago. But yeah, watch silver. Silver's performing a bull flag. It's going to try and break into kind of the upper high of the channel here. I already started buying silver down here and like here. So this is where we're looking for that move to finally kind of up and out. That'd be nice. But anyways, yeah, keep an eye on silver. That might have some bullish moves over the next couple days. Actually, I haven't really had any issues with TOS today. Do I think Powell announces negative interest rates today? You know, to be completely honest, I haven't been as caught up lately with what's going on with the Fed. Believe it or not. Well, I don't want to say that, but I'm not as caught up on what's going to be happening today, shall we? There is talks of negative interest rates. We will most likely see a negative interest rate world in my lifetime, for sure. Like, it's probably going to happen. We're already at 0% interest rates. So, put it this way. If even this year, next year, like say this was the worst everything got, then everything went back to normal and we didn't have to go to negative interest rates, the next economic fallout that we have, that say it's like '08, if we run into another one of those situations, you will see yourself in an economy with negative interest rates. Yes, it will happen. I look at SLV. Okay. So let's go back and take a little peek at the SPY, just kind of see how that's moving. Ooh. You know, so far we're still kind of holding down. We're holding resistance. So, yeah, we will see if this short move ends up working out. We're still holding here. Just barely in the green. Basically hovering from, you know, green to red right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I actually bought a little Bitcoin. I have a little Bitcoin, not a lot. I think it's like $1,600 worth. Yeah, I think it's $1,600 worth of Bitcoin. I bought it at like some at, I don't know, was it like 7,000? And then I bought some at maybe like 8,000. Maybe a little at like 9. But so I started just buying a little bit. Whenever I kind of like deposited money, I was like, yeah, I got some extra money, and just started throwing it in. And the only reason I really did that was like, well, there is still hype and momentum around it. But I bought it just to have it, because I know we're going to go to a digital currency world now. And if you guys really, if you ever went back and watched my old videos or stuck with me for a long time, you would know that I basically said, I don't trust cryptocurrency until I know the world is ready to adopt it. And then once time progressed over the past, say, like 2 years, you've been really seeing it come to light, where the Federal Reserve wants to have a digital currency. China's trying to have a digital currency. The White House, we're talking about digital currency. The world is talking about going to. So at that point, we have now planted the seed, and now the seed is going to grow. That's what happens in everything. As soon as you plant the seed, that's how the world gets you to move a certain direction. We can't do it all at once because it's too drastic. People will lose their shit. They're going to freak out. So we first plant a seed, and then we start to evolve. We start to water it and evolve the world around that seed until it becomes acceptable. People understand enough that they're willing to do it. And that's the same way mainstream media works. They're going to introduce an idea to you that they want to be finished 10 years from now. Okay? Government propaganda works like that. Today, they're going to introduce to you a plan that they need finished 15 years from now. And they're going to slowly give you this seed, and they're going to water it and water it and water it and water it and water until one day it grows into something that's not so crazy and that you're willing to give into. And that's what they've been doing. And I don't want to say what they're doing it with because it's going to turn this into a political talk show host, which we're not. We're a stock one. But that's how they work, ladies and gentlemen. So they've been doing this with cryptocurrency for a while. Okay, governments and everyone kind of bashed it at first, right? Because it was too hard to move away from what they have. But once they had to know they got to accept it, now they're going to start, So we'll go to a digital currency world for sure. It's going to happen. I don't know when. I'm not that. Believe me, it's above my pay grade. They can't say that, but it'll probably happen, yes. Okay. And another one that really convinced me. So here's the other one. This is when I really knew crypto would end up being a thing, is when you would go to gold and silver providers, people that you could buy gold and silver from, and they were willing to take Bitcoin in exchange for gold or silver. When a gold and silver supplier, shall I say, is willing to give you their physical, cherished money in physical gold and silver to you in exchange for a currency that doesn't exist but on a computer, that's when you know it's worth something. So the digital currency world is valued enough to give away physical gold and silver. That point, I knew digital currency would be here to last. Okay. So short trade's working out here on the market. So we're finally seeing the markets roll. Short trade starting to work out as planned, so that's good. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is 9:01. I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for another stream. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for getting us over the 100,000 follower mark. It's been a long time. I've sat in front of this damn computer a lot of times, so I appreciate you guys for that. And with that being said, I will see you guys again tomorrow morning. All right, guys, take care.